Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a while since I did a video. I'm just super busy, and then just taking a bit of time to not do work stuff. But I have picked up a new sidearm. It's one I've wanted to pick up for a while, but never did, just because I don't know. You have these things where you're like, oh, I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy one, and then no, then you end up buying something else. But it's none other than the Marui M45A1 gas blowback pistol. Really, I don't know what it is. I think I was watching one of Airsoft Alphonse's videos, and there was a guy in there, not Alphonse himself, but there was a guy in there running a 1911, and it just reinvigorated that. I really should get another 1911 again. But, went to go with the M45, and I went with the tan just to be a little bit different. They do offer them in black as well. The first thing I want to say about this M45, and I did pick up spare mags, and I did pick up the M45 mags, not just a generic 1911 mags. I'm glad I did, because they've got this weird finish on them where it almost makes them look like they're made of steel, which I haven't seen before. I've seen like the silver ones that Marui have done before, but this is a new finish for Marui for me, and I'm really digging that. It looks really cool. So what is it? It's a gas blowback pistol. It's made by Marui. It's going to be low powered compared to probably other brands on the market. It's completely made out of plastic, bar a few components like the controls and other bits and pieces. The score, guys. You know what a gas blowback pistol is. But yeah, it's a new one for me. I haven't looked at this replica before. Let's see what we get in the little goodie box from Marui. Usually it's pretty bog standard. So we get some BBs. We get some little clips to put in the mags if you want to dry fire. We get a barrel plug, and we get a loading tool, which of course you can use that for the barrel tool for the front of the pistol, and you can actually use these loading tools to pull down the follower and hold it in place. It sits on the bumper, so not sitting as nice on the bumper compared to other magazines that they do, and you have to be careful not to let that fly up and break your feed lips. But yeah, you can use it to load your mags a little bit easier. Nice to have it. Not that I've ever actually used one, but Marui, very consistent with what they always give you spare in the box. Now, am I going to be able to get this back in there? Probably not. Let's give it a go. So I've had various 1911s over the years. If you're going to get a gas 1911, the only one I think is worth getting is the Marui one, just because all the other brands that do gas-powered 1911s, they're just not efficient at all. The likes of WE Armor Works, all that stuff. I did really like the Armor Works V10. I had a couple of those. Most of the time people go CO2, which is probably the way to go, but if you go in gas, Marui is the way. Now, if you're familiar with the 1911, you'll know about the controls. We have obviously the hammer at the back, the beaver tail, these are metal. We have the safety and thumb rest. Well, do you guys use that as a thumb rest? I normally do. Slow release metal as well. We've got the mag release on one side. So 1911, it's not going to be a lefty friendly. They never are. You've got a proper Picatinny rail at the bottom here, which might make finding holsters, might make finding a correct holster a bit more difficult, because it's not like a normal railed or non-railed 1911. It's a very different rail. Do we have a sight? Do we have a what's the word I'm thinking of? Torch. Do we have a flashlight that will fit this? Let's see if I can find something. Because I did see HW Holsters do a Kydex holster for this replica, or for the M45, with a Surefire X300, which I have one here on my G17. This is also Marui. Let's pop that to one side. And we can put this on the 1911, or the M45, sorry. Let's tighten this up. And I think that tan Surefire X300, this is a proper one by the way, much better suits the aesthetics of the M45 because it's a tan pistol compared to the Glock 17. We've probably got no gas in the magazine, so we have to charge it up. We're charging it up with some propane. Yes, I know, shock horror. I've always used Maruis on propane. like that, the mag's full. Let's give it a quick function check. You know, typical Marui, nice snappy performance. Right, how do we take the slide off this thing? If you're not familiar with the 1911, it's dead easy. We line the slide release up with that little notch there. We push the slide release from the other side. That releases the slide, we slide it forward. And if you know your way around 1911s or high cappers, you'll be very familiar with how that works. We push the button in at the front there. I say button, it's like a, it's the spring plug, spring guide plug. Oh, I don't know the name for that part. We rotate this barrel key to one side. Again, I'm probably getting all the names of these parts wrong, but you know, it is what it is. That is quite tight on there, so perhaps I shouldn't mess with it just yet. Or should I? Because you guys are probably going to want to see that, aren't you? So you line this up, it slots out, and then we need to just lever it up to get it out. There we go. Just be very careful because they are plastic. Pop that out there. It does have like a little shim on the inside of the plug. I don't know if you can see that. Like a plastic guide shim, probably to keep the barrel from slopping around. You can then pull these components out here with that front piece. The outer inner barrel and hop assembly slides out the front. I'm not sure if this looks different to me compared to the normal 1911, so perhaps they did update it where you'd have to remove that to get it off. I mean, you might be able to sort of flex it over it, but I don't want to break it. There's your barrel set out, and then of course you could do any maintenance. They do have rollers on the piston section here of the nozzle or the blowback housing, so you've got little rollers on there. Keeps this nice and straight, true, and I don't know, I'm struggling for words today, aren't I? So we'll put this back together. It's very simple. Pop that in there. You know, dead easy to work on. If you've been an airsofter for a long time and you've never owned a 1911, I would be surprised, because I see we all go through that rite of passage. Do they have the efficiency of like double stack magazines? No. So if you want better gas efficiency, you're going to go for like a Glock or like a high cap or something like that. Because the mags are thin, they hold less gas. It's just the way it is, and it's usually why other companies who do gas 1911s, KWA, who else does gas 1911s? Maybe KJ works. I'm sure there's various, but the having owned a couple of KWA 1911s in my time, they were absolutely rubbish. So let's give this thing a chrono. Of course, it's not going to be hot, is it, with it being a Marui, but we're going to lob some 0.3 gram BBs into the mag. It's really easy to fill. I don't need the tool. You know, with that being quite prominent on the follower, it's easy for me to hold it with a fingernail, and we load it up. I can't quite remember how many rounds these hold. Is it 25? Is it 28? Is it 30? Who knows? If you know, put it down in the comments below. I can't quite remember. Does it say it on the box? It does not. There's a manual behind there as well. So put this into the pistol. We'll load a round in. We've got the chrono set to, we had the chrono set to 0.3s, but it's out of battery. I tend to just jiggle these batteries around and they normally tend to work. So 0.3s, let's quickly get this through before it turns off. 0.9 joules, 0.9 joules, 0.9 joules, 0.9 joules, 0.9 joules. Super consistent, a bit of fluctuation, but you know, as far as consistency go, Marui's always on point. Let's do a bit of a dump into the box. And we're slightly out of gas there. How many rounds do we have left? That is the first fill, so we will have atmosphere in the magazine. So you always need to do a bit of a purge. I always find that the first fill on any new gun is always a little bit hit and miss. 1911s are going to suffer from that even more. Do have a round in the barrel. don't. So there we go. It's just going to be something you have to get used to with 1911s. The Maruis are the least worst, if that makes sense. I will check these. In fact, shall we check the mags together? Let's get rid of the gas now. I don't ever condone you dumping the gas out your mag. I see people coming back from the game zone all the time, and the first to do is they dump all the gas out the mags. You should never do it. However, if you need to get the gas out your mags for maintenance, anything like that, then, you know, you got to do what you got to do. So once we've done that, they've gone back to pins. So we need to tap these pins out. So let's get a punch. And let's get a hammer. Let's see if we can tap these pins out. I'm going to be able to do this on the box. Find out which way the pins go. It's probably the opposite way. Yep. So if you're looking at the magazine back to front like this, you want to tap the pins out left to right. So 1 and 2. Once we've done that, we can remove the base plate. Now you have to be careful because this will also be holding your spring in. So this gently. So you'll see we do have a really long inlet valve on there, so it's past halfway on the magazine. So I would probably, and a lot of people don't like to do this, but me personally, I would probably modify these mags. Do I have a flathead? Do I have a smaller flathead? Yeah, I would probably modify the mags just so they accept more gas, because it being a 1911. I'm not worried about a bit of gas spit. I wouldn't probably be as aggressive like when compared on the MWS, but look at that. Marui valves are normally about this long. So they've put an extremely long valve in there. It's probably the longest one I've ever seen. So I will... In fact, where's that pipe cutter? Let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's find out if it can be done. I'm going to chop it in half. Thereabouts. It's going to be difficult to hold. Let's hold the waste end. This is quite a thick piece of brass, so we're going to have to give it some more pressure. Are we cutting through it? I think we are. You could just chop this off with a hacksaw if you wanted to. I've never had to do this with any Marui pistol. That being said, Marui pistols that I've always dealt with have never had an inlet valve this long. So, having not owned the M45 before, to be honest, I haven't owned a lot of Marui pistols for a while. It would be interesting to see which ones have it and which ones don't. Sorry, I know this is not riveting content. So there we go. We pop that off there. Perfectly fine. You know, we'd probably just clean it up with a file maybe. Do we have a file of the correct size? So I'm gonna, because it is quite thick brass, just gonna deburr it. I'm going to blow it through with a bit of propane, and this is basically me just taking the valve and just to blow through any swarf. Now if we fit this back in, we're going to have an issue where it doesn't reach. We've got this tube, so this one will go really easy. I know a lot of Marui purists are like, whoa, what's he doing? He's destroying the magazine. That's going to make your gun spit gas and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, if you're so concerned, you don't have to do it. I'm not going to force you. But this is my gun, and I'm going to do what I want in the name of science. It will be interesting to see if we do this, we actually get through a full mag of BBs, wouldn't it? Let's put the valve back in. What did I do with the screwdriver? There it is. This is almost like a quick overview review / guide on how to, you know, these are normally separate videos, but you're being treated today for an all-in 2-in-1 special. I'm going to pop this back together. I'm going to take the pins, we're going to pop them back in if they want to go in. 1 and 2, we're going to tap them home, make sure they're fully seated. The back one just needs a little bit more. And now I'm going to fill up the gas. What do you know? It took longer to fill up. That mod doesn't work. I'm sorry, but yes it does. And I've chopped my MWS mag tubes all the way down. Do you know how many times I've had an issue with spitting gas? And I'm not saying it's not a problem, but I've never had an issue. I have plenty of mags, so I'm not constantly refilling one mag and, you know, shooting it over and over and over. Just gonna let my hands warm this up a bit because it's freezing cold because I dumped the gas out of it. So not only are we testing to see if we get more BBs out on a gas fill, the mag is colder than it was originally, but let's go for it. We can power stroke it. What do you know? I filled that mag to the exact same place I did before, which was 23 rounds. So you probably get 25 in one of these. And it didn't finish the mag first. That quick 5-minute mod. And now you've done a full mag. And there's no way that wouldn't have struggled to do the full 25. So 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Still going. And we still lock back. So there you go. There's a review. There's a how to do it guide and how to improve it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been a long one. We'll see you in the next one. And from me and Bench, as always, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. I'm really mixing the script up now, aren't I? See you in the next one.